The love for cars in India is growing exponentially. People spend more and more time looking after them. So, car detailing is a booming industry. And talking to me about this, I have with me Anckur Sama, the CEO of CarzSpa and a real veteran in the detailing industry. Mr. Sama, thanks for joining us. You've been in this business for a long time, I think over 20 years. Obviously, I think all of us love our cars. I think it's the most loved mechanical object, no doubt about that. We don't spend weekends polishing our refrigerator or even our computers, but the cars we really love. And I just wanted to get your perspective since you've been really one of the pioneers in this industry and been around for over, almost 20 years. Just walk us through the evolution of, let's say, I wouldn't even just say car detailing, but the customers' engagement with their cars to just make them look better.
Yes, Omar. So before I come to your question, firstly, thank you, Hormazd and Hotokar, for having me here and touching upon this issue about car care culture and car detailing, because which is very much needed. So it has been a long journey of 20 years to reach this platform, but then I'm going to take this opportunity to come across to our car owners of the country and explain what exactly it is happening in car care industry. So looking at my journey of 20 years, plenty of things have changed, and car care as a car detailing industry has evolved from a normal washing stores to polishing stores to, and now I can say that we are a paint protection company
Right.
instead of a detailing company. So in this 20 years, we have seen a lot of changes happening in the market. So customer who was coming to us initially with a little 3-4 years old car and asking us to make it look like new.
Got it.
And that perspective has completely changed, where customers are driving brand new cars
And
directly
wanting them
from the
to
showroom.
remain like new for the next 5 years. Yeah. Right.
So now we find customers are driving in with brand new cars directly from the showroom. First, he is getting some kind of a protection on his car, and then he drives the car to home or temple or wherever he wants to.
Right. Oh, okay. Wow. So that's the first thing. Get
So
it done, whatever
get
the
it done,
PPF
get it
ceramic, which
done.
we'll come into. But, I just want to ask you, uh, 20 years back, okay, let's say the choice of cars was not that much. People were still, in that phase of using cars for commuting. Of course, people still, let's say, looked at cars with a lot of pride and joy. But is it also that the technology you've seen evolve dramatically in the last 20 years, and that has also led to a proliferation of products which are somewhat affordable and do the job much better than they used to before? I mean, PPF was not there then, was it?
Yeah, PP was not there. So technology for the cars have also changed. The paint technology mainly,
Right.
because of VOC norms and everything. The paint has gone waterborne, thinner,
Right.
and the plants, all the manufacturing plants have gone to robotic painting and everything. So
Right.
now instead of a manual painting, those arms are painting.
Yeah, those high-speed rotation bells
High
and
speed
all.
rotation. So most of the cars are now using just a 1 liter of a paint. Traditionally, 20 years back or 40 years back, they were using 5 to 7 liters of paint. So paint on the metal sheet has gone very, very thin.
So does that mean they require more protection?
Exactly.
Oh, I see. So what you're saying is that the paint quality is no longer as robust as earlier. Because
Yeah.
see, the older cars, they had a
They
solid
had
thick
very,
layer.
very thick paint.
Right.
So now it is not as thick as that. So they are not weaker in strength, but to remove any imperfections from the paint, you need to sand them out or you need to polish them out, where you are reducing the layer.
Right.
Now, because it is so thinner, the process of doing it more than one or twice has been eliminated, because how much time I can remove a layer,
Right.
because it is very thin. So there is a need to not do this polishing service and put a protection layer so that there is no
Right.
need to polish.
Got it, got it. And so that's very interesting. That's fascinating. And clearly, obviously, the paint has become thinner for environmental reasons, probably even cost reasons.
For the cost reason, environmental reason, both.
Right, right, right. So it's good to know that cars aren't painted with the same kind of, they still have luster, but I guess it's not
Yeah.
got that same paint protection is not as what it was before. So instead of paint protection, you need external protection to protect a thinner layer of paint. Would it be fair to say that?
That's right.
Got it. Okay. So sum that up quite well. So let's get into paint protection. I think there are multiple ways to do it. But first, before doing that, let's talk about the reality of the Indian situation on paint. Hostile environment, the way we wash our cars. We've seen so many swirl scratch marks with cloths which are dirty, have a little bit of grime, grit in them, and the sort of small little dust particles can scratch the paint, especially very fine paint. And now that you tell me that, our top coats are much more vulnerable than what they used to be. So the Indian condition, let's say sun, parking the car outside, droppings from birds, dropping from trees, what's really the real damage being done to a paint in India?
Fine. So, environmentally and mechanically, India has more challenges than anywhere in the world.
Really?
So,
But what about places like the Middle East, for example?
yeah.
Why would you say?
So Middle East is fine. So matlab, in Middle East, you don't have a guy who is coming to your house and rubbing your car with an old T-shirt or a shirt or those kind of thing, and using an dishwashing solution to scrub your car. So that is eliminated, and
Right.
they are like little more matured about that thing.
Got
So
it,
they
got
are
it.
using more professionals
Got it.
to fix
Yeah.
that, though
And more infra for shaded parking, I suppose.
more shaded parking. And except the urban area, I mean, like, even if you go to Dubai, so now you don't find sand in the city.
Right,
If you
right.
drive outside the Dubai, then you may have those sandstorms and everything. So they have paved everything. But in Indian, even on the good urban areas, you will find a lot of micro dust blowing, and there's a lot of sun pollution.
Right.
So major pollution what we find in India is our own vehicle pollution.
Right,
On the road, all the cars are emitting fumes.
right, right.
So all those fumes are settling on your car.
Right.
And
So
that is also the major
it's
trouble.
a deadly cocktail of chemical, of fumes, pollution, sun, dust. That's the real killer for paint.
That's
Is
the
that
real
right?
killer.
Right. So and let's talk on the washing techniques. Clearly, obviously, how would you advise car owners just from a basic washing what to do?
So I'll answer it in two ways. One is keep on doing what you're doing so that we remain in business. But yeah, so it is very hard because the kind of conditions we have in urban areas and even in rural areas also. So people are not even aware of things. People are washing cars with hard water.
Right.
Because they think that soft water is not needed for car, but it is only for their bathroom taps and everything. So hard water marks and using some kind of an hair shampoo or those kind of things to wash the car, which has never been meant for that. And no one is trained. Either is watchman or driver or some house help is washing his car. So what they are doing is they are just cleaning it.
Right.
But they are not aware that they are putting swirls or they are not removing dirt particles. And because the paint has gone so thin, just to give a perspective to the users, this sheet of paper is more thicker than the clear coat.
Wow.
So that how thin is that? So it is quite vulnerable, quite easy to scratch it out. Though in German cars now we have hard clear coat also, which is often 7
Right.
hardness,
Right.
but still 7H is also not enough. So the way they will scrub it with all those things.
Yeah.
So
it goes deeper into the.
it goes deeper into it, and
almost
once
to
the
base
damage
coat.
is done, so
Right.
it is not gonna be revoked. You only need to remove a layer of paint to fix all damages.
Right, right, right.
And then by sun you get a lot of UV and infrared, which is gonna fade out, or it will give it opaque finish on your car. And pollution, that's the like
Biggest
worst
killer.
thing. So we drive bumper to bumper. If
Right,
one
right.
car is 1 inch ahead, we'll also take 1 inch back. So but those fumes which are settling on your cars, on your headlights, on your windscreens and everything, and every day, day on day, day
Right,
on day,
right. Has
you are
an impact.
building those fumes. And now they are like petroleum stuff,
Correct.
carbon and everything.
That's right.
So no hair shampoo can remove that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So-
That's right.
Problem in India is that people are not exactly aware. It is not that they are not willing to do it. So day and day this awareness is happening,
Right.
And once who they are aware of those things, they are using in professional services to remove all this.
Got it. But before we go into the protection part, just the last few things, a few tips on what car owners can do to kind of just protect their paint, their cars. Obviously, parking in the shade, the way it's washed. What are the kind of simple tips you could advise?
Fine. So one thing which is very ignored in India is like a good body cover.
That
People
makes a
don't,
difference.
yeah, it makes, it's an best protection for our country.
Right.
If you park the car in sun, if you have an body cover on it, because we don't have those shades like Middle East.
Right.
So putting a body cover or investing in a good body cover is very, very good thing, but it's not very comfortable or convenient.
Convenient, yeah. It's a
So
bit
that is
cumbersome, you have
why
to pull it off and all.
that is why people are not investing it. And the way we are washing, we are ignoring that what kind of water is been used, what kind of chemical are been used to wash.
Yeah.
So these two things is like, obviously it is not easy. It is easier to say, but it is not easy for an consumer, because I
Right.
myself a car owner, I also have plenty of time find challenges
Right.
that how to do this. So it's
Right.
not gonna be easy.
Right.
But still, if back of the mind, if they're aware that we need to protect, not park in sun. And one thing what we have seen, that we are in hot country, so generally we try to find a place below the tree.
Right.
And moment you put below the tree, if it is sunny day, you will get tree sap on the car.
Right.
And those tree sap are hard to remove.
Right. That's
So
very
for-
acidic, is it?
Tree saps are not acidic. Bird droppings are acidic.
Bird droppings acidic.
So bird
okay.
droppings. So tree sap are like, they are hot and they fall on
Yeah,
your car and they split.
Right.
So you will have an small, plenty
Patches,
of patches on the
absolutely.
car.
Hard to remove that.
Washing cannot remove it, so you
Right.
need a professional guy. So
Right.
claying
Yeah.
is a
So that means
method.
you're buffing it and going into the top coat
Yeah.
that much more. Which
So
is
buffing
again,
is not needed to remove plenty of things. So now there are non-abrasive methods also available,
right.
like claying, and there are steam cleaners available
Right.
to remove all those
Wow.
things without need of buffing or reducing the clear coat.
Got it. Fantastic. And just one last thing is, what about monsoons? Because for us, especially in the western coastal regions, Mumbai, Goa, all these places, intense monsoon. Would you say in a way that's better than summers, or does it have its own challenges?
Yeah. So that's the big myth what in Indian consumer has. So monsoon is worse than summer. Summers
Really?
are still better.
So what are the tips in the monsoon? For example, would a car cover work, because you're trapping moisture there? So maybe don't
Yeah,
use a car
no.
cover in the monsoon.
You need not. But what happens in monsoon is that a lot of industrial pollution and everything comes back with the water. If you
Right.
see buildings in your town and everything, you'll see those yellow streaks on the building. That
Right.
is because of pollution. Polluted water is
Yeah.
coming down.
Yeah.
So that is like more dangerous. You will have a lot of watermarks on your car, a lot of chemical deposits on your car.
Right.
Those fume films are not getting chance to evaporate up on the road.
Right.
So that is also coming back. So monsoons, the marks are more severe than the summers.
Got it.
For that, you need to do an buffing job. You need to reduce your clear coat.
Interesting.
Summer things can be done non-abrasively also, but monsoon damages. And generally, people do not put an layer before monsoon. That is the right time in India.
Right.
If you put an any kind of protection layer, so that anything which is coming by
Right.
polluted water,
Yeah.
that is how you can.
Absolutely, like you change your tires before the monsoon, exactly.
Yes.
So that's great. So that leads us into protection. Let's talk about, let's say, protection. What are the options over there? So I think clearly there are two. There's, the ceramic coating, which is one thing, and then there's PPF. Two different, serve different kind of purposes and needs. You either take one or the other. So, I mean, just for our viewers, if you can explain, let's start with ceramic coating. I think a little bit more expensive and, kind of got to do with the look of the car, the gloss, and I mean, it is quite costly as well. But yeah, just your kind of, let's say, what is the real benefit of it?
Right. So to start with ceramic coating, coatings are fairly new in our industry. This industry started with applying waxes. They
Right.
were using those wax and applying. They were like natural waxes,
That's
carnauba
right.
based,
That's
and
right. Yeah.
all those
Yeah.
kind
Though
of
they're not
things.
water soluble, so they kind of
Yes, so they
water
were
glides off. Yeah.
so in one wash you were able to remove them.
Right.
So the life of waxes were very limited.
Limited. Right.
But I, being an old school, I still find the shine what wax gives is uncomparable.
Oh,
The
really?
luster what
Right.
wax gives is uncomparable. But then it doesn't last. So
Right.
it was not solving a purpose for our Indian consumer.
Right.
Even if we are putting a wax in Europe, it's far better than putting in India.
Right.
So from waxes, this industry started, and they went to artificial waxes called polymer sealants and
Right.
synthetic sealants, but they were still all organic things.
Right.
So ceramic was the first inorganic layer which was developed in Japan,
Right.
and it is based on nanotechnology. Most of
Right.
our clear coat are micro.
Right.
So they have micro pores. So now what ceramic does is it goes inside the micro pores. So that
Okay.
is how a small nano layer is bind in,
Right.
and it stays there for months and years to protect your
Right.
car.
Right.
So now they are like in liquid glass technology. It is like putting in very thin glass layer on your car,
Right.
or a ceramic layer on your car.
That's what gives a bit of gloss also.
It gives a little bit of gloss, but gloss is mainly it's a transparent.
Got it.
So whatever gloss is beneath, that is what it will
It
show.
reflect through. Yeah.
It will reflect. So
Yeah.
before putting in ceramic coating, a detailer would shine it and then put
To preserve that gloss.
to preserve that gloss.
Understood.
So
understood.
gloss.
So this is something you all do end to end, right?
Yes.
At CarzSpa.
At CarzSpa, we start with decontamination. So because
Right.
there
So
are a
that's
lot of
very critical.
Very critical. The cleaning job is still our heart. So the industry has come from cleaning to protection, but because our core was cleaning, we started with this decontamination, cleaning, and
right.
intensive detailing and everything. So still we are over there. So more better you detail before putting any protection, the better gloss, better luster, better everything would come out as a complete package.
Right, and it's very interesting. I think we've gone to a philosophy of prevention is now better than cure.
Yes.
Which all our doctors would also want.
Yeah.
So coming to the protection on ceramic again, let's say it's, I mean, how long does it last? It's still quite expensive. When do you use ceramic? When do you use PPF? Again, we'll talk about PPF, the benefits of that. I PPF my car, feel good about it because I drive a lot. I want that mechanical protection, stone chips and things like that. So, so clearly is one environment, is one what you call mechanical. So just to understand, and can you have both? How do you then totally protect your car? So, I mean, what would you as, let's say CarzSpa advise?
Fine. So it completely depends on customer's usage, what kind of car he is, how much he drives, and in which area he drives. So by a couple of questions with customer, we can suggest him that what is the right product for him. So somebody who is looking for an environmental protection, like he is parking in open, so he needs an protection from UV rays and infrared. He wants to protect his car from tree sap. He wants to protect it from bird droppings and mainly the fume films.
Right.
So now, being a nano technology layer which has a very nano pore, so nothing can go inside now.
Got it.
So it is on the top layer.
Right.
And
it just gets washed away.
It gets washed away, and by default, any nanotechnology will have an repellence.
Right.
So it will repel water, it will repel dirt,
right.
It will repel oil.
Yeah. So literally like you're scotch guarding your car.
Yes.
For a lot of people who can relate
to that. The
yeah.
kind of thing. So you're putting an artificial inorganic glassy layer of a nanotechnology.
Right.
It's very thin.
Right.
So it cannot give you any mechanical protection because
right.
it is thin. It is just 2 microns of a film or 3 microns of a layer. So 2 to 3 microns is very thin enough to expect that it is not going to scratch.
Right.
But it is very good in environmental protection.
Got it.
So those who are only looking for environmental protection, where he has an S-class and he does not drives a lot, his other car is where he takes it to factory, it is like a weekend car or some kind of thing. There, though it is a cheaper option than PPF, I would suggest to get it a ceramic.
Right.
Because he doesn't need a mechanical protection.
Got it.
And if he is looking for a super high gloss, that his car should stand out in crowd,
right.
and then it is only choice is ceramic coatings.
And always the trick is to do this when your car is new and fresh before it gets out of the
Before
showroom.
anything happens, first scratch.
Right, right.
Before any first damage happens, first thing is to protect.
Right, right. And PPF obviously, but tell me, why can't PPF do this? Because there's a film over there, so again you'll have the bird droppings and everything, and it won't go through because there's PPF layer as well.
Yeah.
So I mean, the sense I get is PPF seems to be an overall better protection than ceramic as an all-purpose thing if you had to do only one.
Yes. So popularity of PPF has shot up just because of that, because it gives you much better protection than the ceramic coatings. Now PPF comes from factory as an coat on top of PPF. It's known as top layer of PPF. So
Right.
that has a nano ceramic layer infused inside the PPF, which will give you the benefits of both the world. But still, it's a polymer film.
Right.
So it's thicker, around, instead of 2-3 microns, it is like 180, 190, 200 microns. It is softer.
Right.
So when the car is in sun, this soft layer becomes more softer.
Right.
Where the dirt can entrapped, the pollution from the vehicle fume films and everything can rest on it.
Right.
So appearance wise, over at 6 months of time,
Got it.
your shine of PPF will be
diminish.
slightly lower than the
Right,
shine
right.
of
So the trade-off is the aesthetic
aesthetic.
part of it, though you have mechanical protection.
Yeah. So
Right.
if you are looking for, if you are driving on highway, you're worried about stone chips, you drive to your farmhouses, or there are trees and bushes and everything, or you drive into a very crowded area where you fear that rickshaw wala or cycle wala is gonna scratch or everything. So
Right.
all kind of mechanical damages which is giving you scare, that is where the PPF comes in play.
Right.
Much more expensive, around 3x expensive than
Ceramic.
the ceramic coating,
Right.
and hard to maintain
Right.
because of the pollution and environment and everything. If ceramic needs a maintenance once a year, this may need thrice a year.
Right. So just on PPF, before we go on to I think some other products which are especially the films or glass films, which I think is a big topic to talk about.
Yeah.
So PPF needs maintenance. So can you tell us, in application of PPF when you all do it, what is really critical and what should people look out for? Is it the product itself, and obviously let's say the application as well, which is, I think both are equally critical.
Fine. So in my opinion, application is the key.
Right.
The look of the car means for an end user, how the PPF looks, 90% will come from application.
Right.
It's like stitching a suit.
Got it. Got it. You can have the best material, but if you
Best
don't stitch it
material,
properly,
if it is not stitched properly. So application is the key.
Right.
So most of the brands, world-known brands, they have good product in PPF.
Right.
So there is no one has an patented or an edge over product in that.
It's just basically a chemical formula.
It's a chemical formula, and most of the things everyone has it.
It's more commodity.
It's more of a commodity or a product. So game is how you apply.
Right. And
How
then,
better you apply.
So that means you all, obviously, people who apply it have to be very well trained. I mean,
Oh, yes.
what sort of training do you give them? And I mean, how do you, and is this where you hope to stand out because you're doing it in-house in your facilities?
Yes. So we have our own academy from last 10 years. So we have
An academy?
dedicated detailing academy. That was India's first dedicated detailing academy. So we have trained plenty of people. Around 1,200 people have joined our bandwagon to come there, and we do in 6-7 days of an extensive trainings to each and every our franchise partner, and even it is open to non-franchise partners also. So we have invested into that if they are not trained enough to apply, how will they apply?
Right.
And if you talk about PPF, the car attracts a static dust also many times.
Right.
So where are you parking that car to apply PPF?
Right.
So has to be anti-static so that your dust does not, because moment you remove the liner of the film, there's a glue behind.
Right.
Even that glue will have that
attract,
static
yeah,
dust
correct.
attracted. So that environment first is very important, and then we term our detailing stores as a studio.
Right.
Just because we use a lot of lights.
Right.
If you don't use a lot of lights, we will miss out
Yeah, you'll miss out the kind of imperfections
the
or
kind of
anything. Yeah.
imperfection. And to detail better, you need to see better.
Correct.
So that is how those are known as studios. Ample lightings has to be there,
Right,
and
right,
dust free
right,
zone. We
right.
use an
Maybe we could do it here. I
atomizer.
don't know.
Yeah. So we
So,
use an atomizer to
right.
reduce the dust, because that is the most important. And then in India, because it is in very dusty climate, we cannot cut from the edges. We'll have to tuck in.
Understood.
So to tuck in into bumpers, fenders, and everything, sometimes you need to open up.
Right.
So as a practice, we open up those small parts. We open up door handles so that the PPF can be tucked in properly. We open up the, so you need a guy who is very well trained in opening and refitting all those things
Oh,
also.
that is, yeah, exactly. But I don't know, on high-end cars, would people be open to doing that?
They are open to. They are open to.
Right,
There are some people who do not like it,
right.
so they tell us upfront.
Yeah,
But we are. They are aware that
right.
what is going to
At
happen.
the
So
most,
that,
if you go close, you might see the edge of the PPF
yeah.
pin. Yeah,
So there are logos behind the car.
right,
So if there is a Maybach logo, and if I don't remove that logo and put PPF, I'll have to cut that PPF from the Maybach.
right,
It
right.
will look ugly.
Got it.
So the guy who is, if he doesn't want his Maybach to be touched, he will have to live with that.
Right,
So they are fully
understood.
aware that what he is
Got it.
asking for.
Interesting. Right. Yeah. Right. So, and just lastly, let's talk about paint colors and shades. Dark colors, a nightmare to maintain. Better to go for light colors, but dark colors also really, the highlights, the gloss much better. Your little tips on choosing paint shades.
Fine, see, it's a personal choice. So India predominantly drives white and light colors.
Yeah.
42% of cars are lighter shade, but more and more premium luxury cars, we are seeing that they are opting for in darker shades, bluish and black and brownish and all those things. And because he is investing so much in that asset, he loves it. So even if we try to suggest something, but then it's a personal choice. And what we have seen, that is a shift coming.
Right.
So most of the luxury car owners are now buying darker shades.
Yeah. Because the nightmare to maintain actually. Isn't
They
it?
are
Very
aware.
difficult. Yeah.
But then with PPF coming in, they are quite now back of the mind comfortable.
Got
okay,
it.
no worries.
Got it. Yeah. I
We'll
think
buy a black and put a PPF.
PPF more critical for dark shades. And then
Yeah.
lastly, tips on getting your car washed. Let's say pressure washing, you do that. They say that can damage your paint to a very high pressure. Microfiber cloths. I know these are the typical things, but just to get your sense, what are your tips for, let's say I've got my car today, from tomorrow, tell your cleaner to do it like this.
See, most important is the shampoo what you use.
Right.
In my opinion, you need a shampoo which is going to remove the carbon films. So you need an anti-pollution shampoo.
Right.
So those days are gone when we were using an pH neutral shampoos and everything, because at that time we were applying waxes. So now either it's ceramic coat or either it's a PPF. So we need to clean the PPF layer or a ceramic layer, or even if you don't have any protection,
Right.
you need to remove that.
Right.
So you can even scratch with microfibers with wrong techniques.
Got it.
You can even damage car with your pressure washers. We have seen plenty of clients damaging their PPF layers with pressure washers.
Exactly, yeah,
Because
that's
the edges can come out of pressure
Right,
washer.
right. So pressure washer not a good idea generally, isn't it?
Yeah, soft pressure is good.
Okay.
But
yeah.
using a right shampoo is the key.
Got it.
Because why are you washing? You are washing to remove pollution. In city driving, I don't find a lot of mud or those kinds of, unless I am doing a cross country or
Yeah,
something.
or it's monsoon time. Yeah.
Or in monsoon time. So everyday washing is what a shampoo is done in it.
Right.
And there are now ceramic shampoos also available,
Right.
which will restore your ceramics and PPF. There are special PPF shampoos. So you'll have to just invest into a better product.
Right.
Let your same guy do that work.
Got it. Yeah. And is there any danger in overwashing the car? I mean, once a day is enough, or is it too much, or what do you
Indian
suggest?
conditions, you need to wash once a day is fine. But only danger in washing car is not wiping it immediately.
Right.
If you leave the water spots, you will find water spots on your
And in
roof
the sun, that's a
and
magnifying
everything.
glass.
And yes, so washing is fine, but then you should invest into wiping of it. So maybe
Right.
give him a couple of clothes so that he can wipe. By one cloth is not enough
Right,
for that
right.
200 to 50 square feet of a car.
Right, right, right. Fantastic. No, these are great tips, Mr. Sama. I mean, thanks so much. Now, I want to turn to another very interesting product, which is on, let's say, window films or glass films. Clearly, a bit of context, they've been banned, the typical dark sun films for security reasons, whatever, and Supreme Court just banned them. But we are a very hot country. So clearly, the technology, I think, is evolving where you get the level of, let's say, transparency, opacity, or I don't know how you put it, but it really kind of cuts down the intensity of heat. And today we are getting cars with fixed panoramic sunroofs with no covers. Obviously, can turn into ovens in our country. They're designed for Europe. I mean, we've seen Teslas with that. The new Mercedes CLA is coming with that. So, I mean, makes the AC work overtime. Sometimes they're overwhelmed by the amount of sun coming in. So, is this, let's say, a new opportunity, and is this something that consumers should be looking at to really kind of keep their cabins cool?
Yeah. So basically, the films were banned for one single purpose, is that visibility.
Right,
The who is driving or who is sitting in the car should be visible from outside to
right.
the cops or
Yeah. Now
anyone.
everyone's using a sunblind, and that
And if you are using a sun
you're
blind,
gone in
as
any
such
case.
the visibility is
Yeah,
gone.
so they're not banned that yet. Maybe
Yes.
they might.
Yeah. So typically the sun films were banned to avoid crime happening by dark
Right.
glasses and all those things. So now, keeping aside what is banned, but now there's a new generation films which have come up, which is known as heat rejection films. So
Right.
they are newer technology. They don't have any tint in them. They are 70 to 80% fully transparent. They are known as VLT. So
Right.
they are like 80% transparent. If you are using a toughened glass in your office, even that is 80%. So it
Right.
is like as clear as your toughened
Right. So
glass.
is there a regulation? It can be 80% or
Yeah,
70%. Is there
so
anything
Motor Vehicle
specified?
Act says that at least 70% VLT should be in the front and back, and 50% VLT should be on the sides.
Right.
So that's a motor vehicle regulation. So if you abide by that, then you can put anything which is above 50% on sides and above 70% on the front end windscreen. But what we have seen in India in last couple of years, what has emerged is that now consumer is opting for above 70% for all around the glasses because of an ability of a new technology which is reducing is infrared inside. So they
Right.
are infrared rejection films,
All around means even the windscreen,
even the windscreen,
the full windscreen.
full windscreen. So
Really?
windscreen, your side glasses, your
Normally it
rear
has that
windshield.
strip putty at the top, if you
No, no, no.
remember.
It is like a transparent film which you apply all
And
over.
okay.
So there is zero tint inside, and it is designed with an ceramic filters. So there is a multi-layer ceramic coatings done on that, which is going to filter out the heat,
Right.
but it will not. It will allow the complete light to come in.
Right.
So visibility is fantastic from outside or from inside, but only good thing is that it is going to cut down on UV. So 99% of UV ultraviolet, which is good, your skin friendly and everything, and the heat.
Right.
So in a hot sun, you will find a difference of around 5 to 7 degree of a temperature inside the car with these heat rejection films.
5 to 7 degrees.
5 to 7 degrees.
And with clear visibility.
With the clear visibility. No one can find out.
Yeah. So how new is this technology? I mean, how long have we been seeing
Yeah,
it?
so around 7 8 years back, this new technology was developed. So now it is like in mainstream, and now there are more advancement also come into that. Earlier it was just in ceramic filters. Now they are using an titanium dioxide coatings on that to reject or reflect the sun also.
Right.
So which is now giving you around 12 to 15% of a cooler cabin inside. So there are new technologies, new films coming in, but they are slightly thicker.
Right.
So they are like 2 microns, like 2 mils, 50 microns of a film. So it needs a very special kind of an application. You need to first mold with heat
Right.
and then apply.
Yeah, and just from my understanding, is this technology driven by the auto industry, or is it even by, let's say, infrastructure, where in
Yeah.
buildings you want the glass, but you want to, let's say have less heat in for environmental reason to save energy.
Yes.
So which sector is driving this
Initially, it
technology?
was made for architectural,
Right,
because the buildings were having glass facade and everything. If you talk about wonders like Burj Khalifa, so that complete building has been now with these kind of films.
right.
So it was initially made for them, but then those companies who are making these films, they have adopted it for automotive usages also.
So, Mr. Sama, I think, very interesting. I think clearly a case of prevention is better than cure, or protection is better than repair in this case, of fixing or repainting your car. But again, I think clearly chatting with you, it's not just getting the material; it's how you cook it, and how you use it, which is important. So, how would you choose the right detailer? Because clearly, I think by the end of it, I think it's a skill, because all these things require a lot of manual kind of, let's say, work, manual skill. It's not automated, and it's really down to a basic, let's say how good the operator is, or let's say the workman is in applying these protection
Yes.
films.
Yeah. So in my all this experience of 19 years, I have been to plenty of countries to travel about and learn about detailing and everything. And I've been importer of many companies. So I've been to their training centers and factories and everything. One thing is very, very clear what I've been embedded in my mind plenty of years back, that this is a craft.
It's a craft.
So it's a mix of science and art. So science is that your technology and everything, if you're aware of science, your art will be always better. And art is like more of a practice. I cannot give you in a USB that this is an art you can drive. So it's a mix of both. So consumer who are now looking for a detailer, they should look for both of the things. So go and interact with them. How aware or how knowledgeable he is about his products and everything, and what kind of infrastructure he has, and what kind of skilled manpower he employs.
Right,
It's like choosing a garage.
right,
So when you are going to a garage with your Mercedes or any car, you are not relying only that he has that clutch plate.
yeah, or the original clutch plate. It's how you, yeah, yeah.
It is not only about the product that he has that part, but then he's going to fit that part also, and how
Right.
efficient he is going to do that. So it's a combination of good product with good application.
Right, right, right. That is the key. And just talking on, let's say, the future of car detailing in India. I mean, you've got, I don't know what, 120 stores, you said?
Yeah, 120 in India.
120 in India. That's amazing. And do you see this booming? I mean, how big is this market? How do you see the size of it? And
Fine.
clearly, is it being driven by consumers wanting to protect an asset, or a little bit of an emotional kind of, let's say, lock in with their car as well?
Fine. So it's a very good topic what you are asking me for that. So this market is driven by two E's: ego and emotion. So half of the people are egoistic about their car, that they buy it to show it off. So they want more shine, more better and better, and half of them are emotional because it's like in very too much of money. After real estate, that's the highest investment what he has done, and cars are been super depreciating asset. So he's quite emotionally connected with his car. As a matter of fact, India has become now number 3 market in car sales worldwide. So after China and US, we are number 3. The difference of sales, I'm fully aware that for next 10 years we may remain number 3. But what I'm very bullish about and I'm very confident about, that India will become number 1 car detailing market in world because of the conditions over here. The US conditions are far softer, milder than what we see in India, from environment, from mechanical damages, from pollution, each and everything. Whatever can damage on car, India has on steroids.
Right.
So that's unconditional. Second thing is penetration of detailing and everything. US market has 28% penetration of PPF. Means 28% of consumer opt for paint protection in US. India PPF penetration is 2%. So that is where the gap lies in China being the #1 market, there also we have seen 37% of penetration. Middle East has very high penetration because of their conditions and their affordability, but the car sales are not that high as India. So I see in next 10 years this industry is gonna boom like anything. So the stage has been set. It was very tough for us for 10, 12 years initially when we were building this category. For those 10, 12 years, just to joke apart, even my father-in-law didn't know that what business I'm doing.
Right.
So nobody was aware what is detailing. But now the case is not that. Consumer is now getting aware, and cars are expensive in India. We are buying a lot of cars. We have become #3. And what change we are seeing in India is that we are no more now a hatchback market. So it has gone to like mid SUVs and everything,
More emotion there.
which makes 70% of car sales to be our TAM.
Right, right, right.
So maximum PPF sold from my company is on cars like Creta, Seltos, Venues and Nexons. So they are not at very high in the pyramid of premiumness.
Right.
So there are only 30% cars left below those pyramids. So 70% of the pyramid is what the TAM is, and we just have around 4,500 people in this industry. If
Right.
you compare it with any tire care or any other workshops and everything, so it's a long way to go. I am seeing that we may go 10,000 or 15,000 detailing centers in couple of
So this is the
years.
total industry.
Total
The
industry.
total industry is 4,500.
4,500 stores are operational in India.
Right.
For 41 million cars sold every
Right.
month, 4.1 million cars sold, 41 lakhs cars ke samne, it is
Yeah.
just 4,000 stores. So
That's
that
right.
is why the traction is seen.
Right.
Every new company, every new brand, everyone wants to come into detailing because there's a huge gap. So,
Right.
and journey is not going to be smooth, straight curve. People will come, people will
Right,
go,
right.
because it's not for everyone. It is
Yeah.
not a trading business, what you
Yeah,
can
yeah.
see
That's
that.
very, very specialized. Yeah.
Very specialized business. But then good thing is the demand is copying up. People are seeing traction in this industry, and I see that next 10 years is going to be very booming potential in India.
Right. And just lastly, you talked about ego and emotion. We live in an Instagram age. How much of a role is social media playing, YouTube, on, let's say, detailing and, let's say,
Yeah.
kind
So
of
I
driving
would give
this?
all the credit to social media of detailing industry being successful from last 4 5 years,
Really?
because it has helped to educate customer.
Right. But
So
there are a lot
this,
of myths out there also. There's a lot
yeah,
of confusion also as well.
because there is no regulation,
Yeah,
anyone
I
can
mean,
come
today
on
anyone with a
social
phone
media,
can say anything and become an expert.
anything can say. But then the prime role of an YouTube or an Instagram is edutainment,
Right.
which they are doing in detailing for a right way.
Right.
So education about these new products is happening very fast, and that is how this industry has also got quite benefited from being in social media age.
Right. Fantastic. Mr. Sama, it's been a really interesting and amazing chat with you. And it's really good to see. I think, how do I say that? People really love their cars, looking
Oh
at them as
yes.
assets, as prized possessions. And the fact that, I mean, even the technology has evolved so rapidly, and it's accessible to really a wide range of vehicles. I mean, just before I go, lastly, which category do you see the maximum offtake in let's say, protection and detailing? Is it really the high end, in more the kind of premium top, let's say 30, 40 lakh cars, or is it right at, below, or a mass segment as well?
Yeah, fine. So till now, our experience has shown us that cars which are at the top, like 1 crore and above, they are like in a different league. So they are asking for protection, but not in that mass numbers, because they have other cars to drive every day.
Right.
Uh, 25 to 50 lakh bracket is what I see is growing every day and out.
Right.
So
right.
that
So
is
that is the
where
core of the market.
that is the core of the market.
Right. And that segment is also, I think, the Creta segment.
And that's a
is
huge.
Right. That's right. Yeah.
That market is growing.
That's right. The
By
mid-size
leaps and
SUV is
bounds.
growing. Yeah, about
That market
25,
is
30
growing
lakh.
by
That's really
leaps and bounds.
growing right now.
And
Yeah.
we have our own data study. We have found out that which brand owners are more on tech side and whatever thing that. If I talk about luxury cars, predominantly we have seen that BMW owners are more faster to adapt to these paint protection technologies.
Right. Right. That's interesting. A little
Yeah.
bit more involved or engaged with the
More
car.
involved. They're like a driver in themselves. So
Right. 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 No, fascinating, Mr.
yeah.
Sama. Thanks so much. And yeah, here's to you protecting a lot of our prized assets.
Yes.
And wish you all the best going forward.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.